Hi, I'm Dr. Rakesh Shah. Thank you for joining us again on this week's episode. Today, as a special treat, I've invited Bill McLaughlin back for another visit. So, Bill, welcome. How are you?
Thanks for having me back. This is great. Yeah.
You were a pleasure and a hoot to talk to last time, so I said we've got to treat our viewers once more.
Oh, well, I got some fun stuff to talk about because I told you about my students who are performers now. I've gotten in touch with them. Told you about me. I built a studio to do voiceovers. I do audiobooks and things. I got in touch with them and I wrote some scripts and gave them parts. They're recording them independently. I'm recording mine independently. They're sending it all to me, and I'm going to edit it together and make an animation out of it.
Oh, how
sending
cool!
Pictures of themselves. They'll be stills. It's very primitive, but we can do a storyboard thing. And when I get all their recordings, I'm just slicing and dicing and putting the dialogue together into a radio, almost like a radio play, but with pictures. It's radio.
It's like the original version of a comic book, except with audio.
Except with us.
And no balloons.
Right. His pictures. Take pictures of yourself saying this and this and this, and it's great. It's like it's its own little style.
That's pretty neat, actually. I like it.
I have to find different ways to.
I can't wait to see it, actually.
And I just love doing the stuff. Like I said, when I did animation, and we did comedy on radio. A friend of mine actually let Columbia University let him use their radio station, and we did radio improv. People calling in, giving us suggestions. Wow. He would put an album on that had like a soundtrack from a movie. So it might be Hawaiian music, it might be like wartime, whatever. And we'd have to take all these suggestions people gave and work them into a sketch that went to the music.
How neat!
It was my friend Tom Cruise, one of the funniest people in the world. But you're playing all these characters. Oh, you kids want to see the museum, eh?
Yeah.
Well, they say it's haunted, so I'm going to lock the door behind you. And you got to do all these things on the radio, and we basically had fans calling in. It was great.
That's really amazing, actually.
I know. Yeah.
So how hard was that? Because you've got fans calling in. I've done radio before, and one of the biggest challenges is kind of, hey, are they listening? Because for me, I feed off of somebody else's energy. When I'm in front of a big group of people, let's go. The more interaction there is,
the way Tom would take suggestions, he would give people a chance to call in. So you could hear us taking the suggestions, but you couldn't hear the people. We would repeat what they were saying, just in case someone called in and just screamed, blurted some profanity or something like that. All right, but we would repeat what they were saying. Good, okay. Horseback riding with lemons. Thank you. Very good. Something you forgot was in your refrigerator. Your sister. Okay. Right. That's a good one. But we'd have a list of things. So then you start your drama. I don't know, Bob. This reminds me of the time my sister got stuck in the refrigerator. We'd better check things out. I smell lemons. Whatever you're working anything that came into the little radio drama that you're doing. And Firesign Theater was a big inspiration for me. So
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
How often do you feel, especially in today's society, that we're more afraid to laugh at ourselves?
Well, that's a big controversy right now.
Yeah.
The whole Dave Chappelle thing, right? And I think comedians are fighting back saying, look, our job is to offend people. The court jester was the only one who could make fun of the king.
Right.
You had to be careful. But he was the one who could point out just how absurd, the royal court was, just how absurd life with the royal family was, how absurd the kingdom was. And the court jester, you may think that you've got the politically correct or the all-American point of view. So what? what makes you think you're infallible? You know, we are so fallible. We are so incomplete as beings that we have these vulnerabilities. We're totally vulnerable.
Yeah.
And we're absurd. We're absurd, we're extreme. It's so easy to make fun of human beings because they don't realize just how ridiculous they are sometimes.
So, did you have any side jobs along the way?
Oh, yeah.
Like what?
All the time. Well, when I was in New York, I worked at Barnes & Noble.
Okay.
Right, doing books, stuff like that. Telemarketing, which was horrible. That was
You've got to have some interesting stories from that.
Well, it was mostly boring, but you'd call up and say, "Oh, wait, how do you feel about your phone service since the breakup of AT&T?" And blah blah blah, right? And after a while, you're just like, you're marking off the answers. It's like, I don't know how valuable these polls were anymore because there's a certain like number of them you're supposed to get done. It's like, okay, wow, you did 20 of those? Yeah. Lots of interesting conversations. You're just like, I got to get out of here. I got to go do a show. This is terrible. Yeah.
But I've got to think that a lot of those side jobs were great for picking up stories.
Oh yeah, well they were great for being out there and seeing different kinds of people. Like the telemarketing, there was someone who was one of the supervisors, and he was to put it mildly anal, and he just everything's got to be done this way, and people would just make fun of him all the time. But he came in one time and gave this woman some trouble about coming in like a minute late from lunch. Mm-hmm. And she says, "Do you know how many extra studies I got done for you because you needed your quota?" And he's like, "Whoa." Like, don't you complain to me, but don't read the rule book to me, pal. I've gone above and beyond the call of duty for you. And watch, those are great character types.
Right.
I got to do this in a scene. I need these two. These are great. These are my inspiration. And the hospital was a place where I could implement my skills. Mm-hmm. With the little thing that I was doing, always going in, getting people, and putting them in a wheelchair and taking them to rehab, or maybe taking them home, or making maybe a doctor's appointment. There were a number of different things, but it's dealing with people.
Yeah.
And the skill set that I had was, they used to get calls saying, "Thank you for sending that driver. My mother felt so comfortable with him, and he talked to her the whole time." Yes, of course I did. Yeah. I'm not the one in the wheelchair.
Exactly.
I'm the one who's going to make you comfortable.
Yeah, you brought a little smile to their face, and
whatever I could do. I would walk in, and the first thing I would say to the nurse behind the desk is, "Thanks for coming." And they'd be like, "What?" And then I get like a 92-year-old woman who can't stand. It's a 2-person transfer. We get her in the chair, get a little blanket on her and all that. And I would lean over and go, "I'll drive." And all of a sudden she's not thinking about her situation. And then the game is on, and then I'm taking her out. It's like, so I'd get her in. "Do you know how to get there?" "I'll figure it out, don't worry. It's got to be outside the hospital." I pretend like I didn't know where I was going. "Do you know how to get there?" How far can it be?" "How difficult could it be?" It's a rehab center.
We'll go for a little joyride.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, It doesn't matter which one. They'd be like, "Okay."
Oh, boy.
Yeah, right, you. But the important thing was they knew that I was focusing on them.
Exactly.
Because, there were some people who just do their job.
Sure.
And they don't say anything, there's no connection. I'm not delivering a pizza here. I'm delivering a person.
Make sure they go faster.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I don't know how many conversations with fascinating people and stuff like that. And, because you just bring something out of them. Yeah. And for a moment, they're distracted from the replaced hip. They're distracted from, the heart operation.
Absolutely.
Whatever. And, it was good to see that happen when I could make it happen. But there were also different types of people that, for example, with dementia, you never knew what you were going to get.
Sure.
I got someone who was happy, and everything was wonderful.
Yeah.
"Where are we going?" "Oh, really? Look at all the trees." Everything was wonderful. Yeah. But of course, it was the same conversation 4 times before we got to the rehab. "Where are we going?" "That's great." And I'm like, if you're going to fall into that sad state of affairs, well, that's one way to be, because that's something.
Kudos to you. You talk to that person too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And every
not
time
a lot
they
of people
talked
will
to me,
do that.
Every
Sure.
time they talked to me, it was new.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to tell them you already asked me that. Of course not.
Right.
No.
Right.
If you're enjoying this conversation, I'm fine with it.
See,
again, you're the patient. I'm just driving you somewhere. You're the one who's been through the trauma, not me.
That's right. And you hit on one of the most important aspects of any given relationship: respect.
Yeah.
That's what you did. You provided them some respect, some dignity.
Yeah. Acknowledging that they are there.
Acknowledging that they're there. Absolutely.
Yeah. If you're going to, especially if you're going to reach out with humor, it's like you're a person.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're not just an object. You're a person.
Yeah.
So I'm going to connect with you as a person, and let's just enjoy our time together as best we can.
Ever consider social work?
I probably do social work,
You do,
and I'm
you
not even
do.
aware of it, right? And say, Bill, can you come in again and do this? Right. But yeah, it was funny. The skill set would just be there always.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's fun, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's very important.
So
what
you
I'm
like
doing.
getting up and going to your day job.
Right. Yeah. Well, I like I said, I haven't been doing transport, and I'm not going to go back because by being, having to quit because I had a shoulder operation and all that, and the combination of that and coronavirus, I've had to go back to school and learn how to adapt or die.
Sure.
So I built a studio for doing voiceovers. In my office at home, my apartment. I'm back in New York. Yeah, I live in a house now. You said there's a lawn. Anyway, but it's and it's so much fun now because I've done audiobooks and things like that.
Yeah.
A mouse took a walk in the deep dark wood.
Uh-oh.
Where are you going to, little brown mouse? I did animation in New York.
Did you? Okay.
Oh, that is so much fun.
That's got to be a lot of fun.
If I could get back into some company that's doing animation, because you would go. We were actually translating early anime, so it was in Japanese,
okay.
but now we had to dub in the English version of it, which was pretty funny because it didn't really fit.
And I'm sure the lip
movement,
I was just going to say.
Why don't you come in and sit down and have some tea with me? They go.
It's like the old kung fu movies that we used to watch.
Right. Ah, so you think you're so smart, hey?
Yeah.
Well, you're not. And you're like, okay. It doesn't match. The grammar, the structure, it doesn't match. And, but, oh my, yeah, because you got to, again, it was like improv, but you got to be everybody and no one could see you.
Yeah.
So you were the evil villain.
But you're also the stupid sidekick, too.
And it's like, this is great.
Yeah.
Who am I now?
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got an audio studio at home.
Yeah.
But now we've got this really interesting entity coming along called the metaverse.
Yes.
You may have to redesign that studio.
I'll have to redesign the universe to fit the metaverse.
Good point.
It's like, so is this real? Might be.
Might be, might not be.
Might be. If my wife walks in, no. No, hey, I don't know how that came up. It's it's just scrolling. That's I don't know what happened. Scrolling in the metaverse. Were you?
I'm excited because I think that might just give comedians even greater liberties to explore in ways that we haven't even imagined yet.
Yeah, well, I can't even. It's like where are you going to go next?
Yeah,
that's why I have to follow everything.
Yeah,
YouTube's been a big help for me finding new people. It's like, okay, who's this? Who's that? Who's that? And then people I've never heard of. But oh my goodness, there's a brilliant mind there. And what are they talking about? Yeah. I'm not vaguely familiar with that.
So now you have to go do your research.
What is this metaverse? Sure. Okay, it's a new toy. Might be a bad toy. Might be a good toy. But all right, if we have to deal with it, we have to deal with it.
TBD, right?
Yeah.
To be determined.
Right. That was the whole thing about when computers first came in.
Yeah.
And being able to get access to information that I didn't have to go to a library or something like that. And you're like, okay.
But it's instantaneous now, right?
Oh, I don't know. I fix things around the house by going on YouTube. Right. Oh, is that how you get under the sink? Oh, cool. That's how you replace a light. Oh, well, there. Very good.
Oh, so talk to me about that transition over time. I mean, you mentioned something really interesting. Computers came into being, and that was my generation too. I mean, I look back and I said, oh my God, my little cell phone here has more computing power than my little Commodore 64 back in the day, or my original...
More than the computers that put men on the moon.
Exactly. And it's changed our present universe, literally. But you've also had to integrate it into your normal day-to-day. How hard was that?
Well, it's a gradual thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I can remember back, well, of course I can remember having to go home to make a phone call. I can remember, like, my sister having the phone and the cord goes around the corner and it's down the base.
Yep.
Because she doesn't want anybody to hear it. She's saying.
and you were charged by the minute.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I was a kid, it was great. We could go visit my grandparents. When we got home, we had a signal. Mom would call. It would ring twice and she'd hang up.
Right.
That way there was nobody's dime, nobody lost money on the call. And to this day, my wife's mother, who's 89, she turns 89 Sunday actually, she'll call up and say, well, I got to get off. She thinks this is costing money.
Right.
She still has that. I'm costing you money. Well, I'll talk to you later when you come for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she just hangs up. And it's like, that has changed. It's just the evolution of it. Because I try to think back of, like, I had a calling card thing where I could pick up a pay phone, put in my code, and then I could call people, but it charged me this much for this area and that much. And it was just ridiculous. But it evolved so fast.
Yeah. So you'll appreciate this story. A number of years ago, we were in Times Square, and we're walking by, and I looked, oh my God, I didn't realize they still exist. I looked at the kids, I said, do you recognize what that is? Do you even know what it is? What is it? It's a payphone.
Oh, yeah.
What's a payphone? Superman's locker.
Right now, it'll be a little dicey, but hey, Superman, there's kids. Oh, sorry.
But it's amazing. Like, you don't even see payphones anywhere, essentially, and to see an actual phone booth.
Yeah. I think in London they just leave the booths up because well, people expect to see it, so you just go in and like smells like urine. Oh, nobody's making phone calls anymore.
But it's just amazing how our society has changed and it's evolved so much.
It happens so quickly too, because I do remember, like, especially when I first started doing the corporate entertainment. I'm in Chicago. I'm going to a payphone to call my wife or something like that. Hon, we're here, blah, blah, blah. And I had a very funny experience in Chicago. I was on the phone in a hotel lobby, the Drake Hotel, very nice hotel. Top shelf corporate gig. Jerry Lewis was in town performing. And I turn around and I see him and his entourage walking through the door, right? So I'm on the phone, I look over, and we accidentally made eye contact. I go, hi. And he goes, hi. And then I see him getting in the elevator going, who the hell was that? I just totally caught him up. He thought I was like a member of the crew or something. Yeah, hey, how you doing? And he goes, who was that? I was so nonchalant. Hey, Jer, hey, how's it been, right? How's your son? Is he still in that rock group? He said, yeah, how you doing?
That's fantastic.
Oh, God. I think it's because of the nature of my performance. I would do things spontaneously in public that would just blow a crowd away. And we were all stuck on a train in Chicago. It's snowing. It's New Year's. Yeah. And we're jam-packed in. And I took advantage of a moment where all of a sudden, just one of those moments where all the conversation stops and it's quiet. Yeah. And I went, are these people all going to the same party? And my sister's like, what? And everybody just cracks up.
So part of doing what you do, on stage, you've got this free license to go wherever you want. But in the normal world, Did it ever land you in some hot water?
Well, yeah, you'd have to, in a certain situation, it's like, it's not time to joke.
Yeah.
And you know, that's kind of easy to recognize right now. This is, let these people deal with a serious issue.
Yeah.
That would actually make matters worse if you're trying to be funny.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's just a matter of maturity. It's like,
Yeah,
nah, not
maturity
now.
and awareness.
Yeah, yeah. It's a not now moment. And that's why, you know, that's again, listening. We talked about it. It's like, what's happening right now? Okay, this is a moment, like, let's fix things. Let's deal with this seriously because we have to.
Sure.
And we'll get back to life after this. But, you know, yeah, you have to pull back the reins occasionally.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You know, I have to deal with serious things from time to time.
Yep.
And just put up with it. It's like, this is not fun, but I have to do what I have to do to get through this or help somebody else get through this.
Sure.
And then when I can, let's go back to putting a smile, all right? If we can do that, then I'm communicating. I'm doing other things underneath, not just being funny.
Sure.
There's other things going on, and that's what I like about it.
So what's the next 5 years hold for you?
Right now, where's that Rick guy? You know, that guy that does the camera, the one who's been sneaking around.
Yeah.
We've got some projects coming up, and I have to talk to him about that when we take a break. I want to get some TV projects going, and I've really, because of the pandemic, once things started to open up this past summer, I called agents I hadn't talked to in a long time.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, Bill, yeah, I'm glad you called. We can do this and that." I am lighting a fire under everybody I can, because I've done voiceovers. I had a commercial shoot, a film. There was a film being made. I got a part in a film. I have a couple of corporate gigs coming up. Anything that I know, I got kind of lax, well, especially with coronavirus, there was nothing. And that drove me out of my mind.
Sure.
Yeah, I was doing a few things online with people, but it just isn't the same.
Yeah.
And I just have to be out there doing and teaching a class. I missed teaching so much. And I had 6 women. They ranged in age from 35 to 80, right? This small little theater school. And I did an improv class for adults. And at 8 weeks, we put on a show. And one of the nicest things, they kept thanking me for being so supportive, because during the show, I'm on stage with them and I'm managing things. I'm getting the suggestions, I'm ending the scenes, and they know I'm there. And I even participated in one thing. We do a 3-headed expert where there's 3 people and they have to be one person. So it's going down the line as they answer, well, the reason I got into, right? And they know that I'm going to take care of it as the host.
Sure.
Even if they fail, I'll say, well, you weren't an English major, that's for sure. And it gets a big laugh, but it's like, it's okay. You guys have the hard job.
Yeah.
I'm taking care of you. Don't worry about it. That's what I'm here to do.
It's like the perfect magic trick. Create the right diversion at the right time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know? And hosting.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking to a crowd, and we had a really nice sized audience. And there I am. I'm back again, orchestrating. When I do corporate entertainment, I'm sometimes a bogus speaker, which means I'm brought in and I'm introduced as a consultant or a client, and people think this is going to be one of those long, boring blah, blah, blahs, and I roast the company. It's a corporate roast. Sure. I start talking about leadership qualities, and then I start talking about individuals, and I'm like, wait a minute, what did he just say? Napoleon complex, what? and they're like, oh, okay, the game is on. And that's when my writing skills come in, because I take information, and now I'm going to take it out of context, I'm going to stretch it into the absurd, I'm going to deliberately misinterpret information, but very seriously. Seriously. When you can deliver comedy seriously, make it sincere, it's so much stronger.
How often is it really difficult to hold in the laughter for yourself personally as you're delivering?
It's not. It's not when I need to focus that way.
Yeah.
I need to say, all right, if I deliver this as if it's real, it's going to get a bigger laugh. So I'm going to ride that wave. If something is so humorous I crack up, I know I'm going to lead the audience.
Sure.
They're going to see that this actually has gone to that point. But I don't do that cheap. I don't do like, oh, I'll pretend everything's so funny. Maybe that'll get the audience to laugh too. It's because that wears really thin. But like during the student show, I'm off to the side. I sit off to the side, and they can see me on the stage. And these women were coming. They were doing their best work.
Yeah.
Everything much better than anything they ever did in the workshop. And I'm just like over there, and they can see the look on my face, like, what? I didn't expect them to be able that good, and I was a teacher. So yeah, it's understanding what's required in the spontaneous moment, and if something's that funny, that's fine. People can see that you're entertained by it too.
Yeah.
But I can also snap into a character and just say, this character has to be played this way, and all right.
Yes. Hecklers.
Not having done a lot of stand-up, I'm not really. I don't have a lot of experience with hecklers.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, in improv, you'd have somebody who would
always wanted to get the leg up on somebody.
Well, you'd have people who would either you get a suggestion, you start something. Somebody thinks they're still throwing out suggestions, like, no, we got it. We've already started the scene, by the way. So, yeah, potato is great, but you don't need it right now. Okay, you have to stop. Or people would try to trip you up with a really weird suggestion.
Right.
And you just go, okay, well, we're just going to take it and interpret it.
And
you can throw out the weird stuff all you want.
Right.
If it's something really hideously grotesque, like, sir, please, did you eat with that mouth?
But you've got to be prepared for all comers, right?
Well, that's just it.
It's just one of those things you are.
After so many years, it's like people will do whatever they do. And with the improvisational training, it's taking, even if someone throws an insult at you, you find a way to say, well, oh, that's wonderful. Nobody ever said that I was that hideous. I thought I was weak. You're great. And you just throw it back, and they're like, what? No, I'm trying to insult you. I know. And you're really trying hard. I appreciate that.
It's not working.
It's not working.
Try harder. Yeah, try harder.
So, your favorite comedian of all time? Or comedian?
Well, my hero was George Carlin.
Me too.
Yeah, growing up.
Oh my God, yes.
And but as far as ensembles, the Three Stooges, the Marx Brothers, I was never big on the Marx Brothers, but the Three Stooges, I said, these guys are just complete idiots, but they're always making fun of society. They're always making fun of the upper ups. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was great. No, look.
So I did myself an injustice one day. Mm-hmm. So I was there watching with my cousins, and said, I bet you I can make it through an entire hour without laughing. And I did.
Oh.
Don't ever do that.
Yeah.
Don't ever do that, because you can't go back in and laugh the same way again.
Right. Yeah. There's no purpose to that. I wouldn't do it. No.
That's one of those things that you do as a child, and say, oh, I think I can do this. Yeah. No, don't do it. Lesson learned.
Yeah, it's funny. And one of the things with my family, they're funny people. I talk to my cousins, and I realize, yes, I know where the wackiness comes from. I know where the silliness comes from. But I have an uncle, my mother's youngest brother. He's still alive, and he got very excited about the fact that I was into performing and I was in Chicago, because when he was younger, he sang and he wanted to be a performer, and then he got married, 6 kids, went back to school, became an accountant, and but whenever he could, he'd been in some sort of performance at the local VFW or whatever, right? And he was just he would. My cousins would tell me, he talks about you all the time. Really? Oh yeah, I think he's more excited to see you than us. What? So for his 80th birthday, I roasted him.
That's awesome.
Oh, he was in heaven.
Oh, I'm sure he was.
I had all sorts of great material on him, and then like his friends were like, you do this professionally, don't you? Yes, I do. They could tell by the way it had been written and how I'd orchestrated, and again, taken the information out of context and bent it out of shape for my comedic purposes. But yeah, there it was. It was like, it's been around me my whole life.
Yeah.
And now, okay, what do you do with that skill? So I found so many wonderful things that skill connects to.
Yeah.
Like I talked about the teaching and everything. Yeah, I'm funny, but what else about that? What else about that energy?
Sure.
How can that energy be redirected and used in different ways? And it's the excitement about learning. Yeah, I had to download an audio editing program, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just going to keep watching these things and play with it. I'll play with it till I learn how to work it.
So if somebody wants to learn from you, where do they go?
They won't be able to go anywhere right now because we just finished and classes will start. There's a place called Acting Naturally, and that's in Langhorne. And former students of mine are associated with a theater in Hatboro. And I'm hoping that we tried to do a class, but they wanted everybody to wear a mask, and people are like, nah. So maybe next year we can get things going in the spring. And from there, and I don't know, I poke my nose in everybody's business about, hey, can I teach your theater? I taught at the Bucks County Playhouse. Sure. Just by calling up and introducing myself to people. And so, you know, I will be searching for more places. The Acting Naturally, I just called them and said, hey, can we do this? Are you having classes again? Yeah. And they said, yes. All right, let's do this. And I just wanted to get back on that bike.
That's fantastic. I love this journey. I think you know, we're going to have to do another segment where we talk more and dive even deeper into who you are and what makes you tick.
No, or what's happening.
That's right.
Yeah,
there's a lot to talk about.
What's going on, and you know, like I said, I'll be up in Connecticut, and there I am at a country club entertaining some corporation that sells and trades metal. I'll make them human. That's right. That was the thing about being in the corporate world. Yeah. The thing that I connected with the audience is like, okay, you're business people, money, numbers, product. Right now, the rules are gone. You're people. You're human. I'm going to make fun of you. You're going to make fun of you. Yeah. We're in this together. Today we play.
Exactly.
Work time's over. We're here to play.
Sounds like you've been creating the metaverse long before it's.
Yeah, the metaverse was always there.
Yeah, it's always been there.
But it's a stronger one when it's real. And when it's tangible, it's much stronger.
But it was a pleasure having you on today's show.
Oh, it was great talking to you.
Any parting messages for our viewers?
Yes. Yeah. Don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to get out there and find out just how good you are. You're probably better than you think. Yeah. I've met so many people who held themselves back, but then when the light goes on, it's magic. You probably have that light. Don't hide your light.
Yeah. And learn to laugh at yourself.
Yeah, learn to laugh at yourself.
Don't be too serious.
Life's a little too short.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a cardiologist, you know that.
Yeah. I see it every day.
Oh, yeah.
I live it every day.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yes. So
laughter is truly the best medicine.
Celebrate.
Yes. Thank you, Bill. It was a pleasure having you here.
This was great.
I'm Dr. Rakesh Shah. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode.